Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fan.
Good morning, everybody. Hold on. All right, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Friday, September 27th, 2024. And yes, some of you are like, Jimmy, it's Friday. What are you doing on? Sometimes we go live on Fridays for special episodes. Today we have, and yesterday I did correct it live. In dealing with AP's office, I just am conditioned and locked in my mind. Oh, AP's coming on tomorrow. And you all saw live yesterday where I was like, no, actually the clarity is that we have her chief of staff, Sarah, and also Eddie, who is coming in, the acting director of the district office. And so earlier this year, our Congresswoman received an award for constituent services and accessibility. And while, we talk a lot about constituent services on a local level, on a federal level, that's a different ballgame. And so for her and her team in the office to receive that award from the, I believe it is the Congressional Management Foundation, says a lot about her approach to service. I met Congresswoman Pressley when she was like in the admin space with Senator John Kerry years ago. And so I know that transcends into those that she trusts to handle things for constituents, her staff, and there are folks that work with me now that got some training out of her office as far as the Davis system. So I'm not surprised by the award. And I've seen at least one of these folks, I want to say, I don't know if it's from the very, very beginning, but Sarah's been around for a while. And then Eddie the past few years as well. And so I'm going to stop talking and just bring both of them in. I'm going to bring Sarah in first since she's on here with, both of us guys. We'll put her right there. Sarah, good morning. Eddie, good morning. Good to see both of you. Sarah, so you coming in just with all type of messaging this morning, right? Come off of mute and we'll be good.
Thank you so much for having us. It's great to see you.
Yes, and I'm knowing you, I'm catching the messaging and there. So
listen, we go hard for our bills, so
we have to do it. I'm glad to have both of you here. And Sarah, I'll be very honest, you're very behind the scenes. So for the fact for me to get you on Java with Jimmy, it says a lot. So good morning to you, Eddie. With you being in the district and doing a lot of the local constituent services, I see you in community a lot. And so I'm glad to have both of you here. And so, Sarah, why don't I start with you? Greet the folks and say good morning. And how would you describe constituent services on a federal level in one word?
One word. Well, good morning, all. It's so good to be with you. It's just such an honor to get to do this work with Congresswoman Pressley and with Eddie and with our community. Boston is home for me. And so while I keep the Congresswoman's schedule, I spend a lot of time in DC now. We never forget who sent us here. And I had the privilege of serving as her campaign manager back in 2018, where we were making the case around how we would approach cooperative governing and work on behalf of the community. And so we keep that top of mind every day. In one word, dedication.
Okay. All right. I get it. I get it. Eddie, what's up, brother? Say good morning to the folks. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It's a Friday, so we're here. I know for you all, 7 days a week, kind of almost 24/7. Yes, our Congresswoman believes in self-care, work-life balance, but it's definitely an interesting job. So Eddie, greet the folks and you tell us your one word to describe constituent services?
Yeah, good morning, Jimmy, and good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having us on again. And yeah, I mean, just dive right into it. The one word I would just say is just advocacy. I think that's the best term to describe it. And some of our staffers in our office have the title advocate as a part of their title, and we look forward to expanding on that as we get into this interview.
Absolutely. And talk about expanding. Eddie, I'll start with you here in the second question. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey, moving in the space of servant leader and constituent services? It's a calling. And again, I know our Congresswoman believes in, great compensation and whatnot, but sometimes in government and service, it's not the money. It's the service. And so tell us a little bit of your journey of how you landed in a space to right now functioning as and I didn't know that, congratulations, the acting director of the district office. What about your journey led to you being here with our Congresswoman?
Well, you're definitely right. And thank you for the congratulations. It is public service. We are advocating on behalf of our constituents in the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District. And it's a calling that we don't take lightly because the Congresswoman doesn't take it lightly. And, we follow her example. Like you mentioned, she was an aide for a number of years working for John Kerry and the congressman who actually she represents that current seat today. So, just my journey has been kind of winding. When I first got into this space a couple, I would say 8 years ago now, maybe 9, I didn't know what local elected officials could do for us. I've always heard of state representatives, state senators, members of Congress, and I knew what they did from a policy perspective. But I didn't realize that they also did, they have the responsibility of advocating on behalf of the constituents, people that they represent, because the government, as we are well aware, doesn't work all the time the way that it needs to. And sometimes there's hitches in getting access to services or, just access to different resources that may be available. So as I went on from internships, first at the State House, and then went on to be do some campaign work as well as an internship for Senator Warren, and ended up working for Senator Warren, I really got to understand the full scope of what district and state offices sort of do. And getting into this role where we represent the Massachusetts Congressional District, where in a 3-mile radius, life expectancy drops by 30 years from Cambridge to Roxbury, and median net worth of Black Boston from Black Boston families is $8. There's a lot of need, and we just try to be as accessible and available as possible, and ensuring that they get access to federal funds, or help with USCIS, which is the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or the IRS or Social Security. There's always these hiccups or headaches in dealing with these different federal organizations or administrations, and we just try to resolve them the best that we can with a district office that is filled with great staff who are ready to do the work each and every day. And I do just want to take the opportunity to just say their names since they're not on the call, because this award is really about the work that they do. So, a major shout out to, at least in the district office, Eric White, Colin Ramal, Sophia Abbey, Diana Doniska, and Aaliyah Duncan as well. Without them, this ship doesn't run the way that it needs to. And again, this district has a lot of need. And, we try everything that we can to go above and beyond the responsibilities of a normal congressional district office, because we know that's what the Congresswoman would do if she was in that role.
Absolutely. Eddie, thank you for, sharing your story. And I remember you being around prior to being in the Congresswoman's office, but I didn't know about the internships, and then with Senator Warren. And we know the two of them rock very hard, cancel student debt. I'm just going to leave that right there. Sarah, you could have put another sign on the other side of you and had all type of messaging. And so, Sarah, again, you're in the background, campaign managers are in the background. Then you went in as chief of staff. Tell us a little bit about your journey in being in such an intricate role where, you manage a lot that you manage a lot. There's the constituent services piece. There's the schedule. There's being on the Hill for policy. You got 10 minutes to get downstairs to vote. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. You summed that up so well. No 2 days are alike. And It's just such an honor and such a privilege to get to work with the Congresswoman, to get to work alongside Eddie, to get to work with our incredible team. And, I think the Congresswoman and we're just honestly bumping into each other a lot in community. That's how I first got to know her. I came up on the casework side as well. I started over at Horizons out in Roxbury. And so we were working with families that were navigating the emergency shelter system, working with families that were, part of our early education program. And so I really got the privilege and opportunity to do some of that advocacy work with and for families that were just trying to get the pieces to come together, just trying to figure out how do you get the childcare to line up with the housing, and how do you navigate public transportation, all of those pieces. And the Congresswoman was such a steady champion for that work. So that was my first introduction to her office. And from there, I continued to work in education and disability policy and housing a bit as well. And she was just in rooms that, frankly, very few elected officials were in, as you well know. She would be the person who she was going to sit in that church basement until everyone had a moment with her and could talk about what they were going through and what they needed. And it made such an impression on me, and it really resonated. Our relationship grew a bit too when I connected with her. My mother was going through a cancer battle. I was a caregiver to her in her leukemia battle. And that is something the Congresswoman had navigated, then counselor had navigated as well. And just the comfort, the words of wisdom, the perspective she was able to provide. We really formed a connection. And, the incredible thing is there's so many folks in the district who can speak to moments like that as well. So truly never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd have the opportunity to manage her congressional campaign or be her congressional chief of staff, but here we are, and I just feel so lucky to get to do it. And as we built this office over the past 6 years, as Eddie said, we've tried to be really intentional. I think for good reason. A lot of folks look at government and they don't think it's where they go for solutions or for partnership or for an advocate. And we really meant what we said when the Congresswoman ran in 2018. We want to try to do things differently. And I think part of that is a lot of humility, and it's a lot of willingness to take feedback and to do more and to do better every day. And I'm so proud of this team. I'm so proud of the Congresswoman because that's what we aim to model. It's about learning from every experience and just trying to do more. And so whether that is the day in and day out casework of like, let's get you your passport, those asks that are small but big at the same time. Some of the things our team manages, we have worked with the State Department to evacuate folks from very dangerous situations in the midst of war. We have, addressed the baby formula crisis. It really runs the gamut. And I think the guiding principle for the office is what are those pain points for folks right now? What are they going through? But also, what are people's aspirations? And how can we move in a direction of putting forward policy, but also really strong constituent services, accessibility policy. And some of the, learning and partnership we've been able to do with so many disability advocates, I have to shout that out too. That's worked very close to my heart. And so some of what this award that the Congressional Management Foundation.
Hold on, Sarah, because first of all, you answered I was getting ready to ask Sarah, what is the philosophy of the office and what are the standards? And then I was getting ready to say, Sarah, what is, tell us about the foundation. Go ahead, Sarah, just for you to be behind the scenes.
We're just on the same page. You're just reading my mind.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Tell us about the Congressional Management Foundation, because this, from what I saw, pretty prestigious award. You have a lot of representatives there in the House, and so pretty prestigious award. Tell us about the foundation. Eddie, we'll come back to you. I just want to shout out Darian Johnson is on. Just mention him. Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I so appreciate that. And yeah, Eddie, I'll let you jump in on this too. This is special for the team. It's like we do this work because we believe in it, and we're just trying to do right by our neighbors and our community and our home district. It is not often that you get to pick your head up and kind of take stock. And I think that's what this award was for the Congresswoman and the team. It's like we don't do it for any external validation, but it was a beautiful thing, especially as Eddie said, seeing our team day in and day out, just really hustling and trying to do right by folks. I'll give a couple more shout outs too. We'll weave them in, but I want to give a shout out to DeMarco, Ricardo, May, Anib, Dagoberto, Kayla, Sharif, Dorcas, Lona. We'll come back to make sure we just do a pass through the whole team, but it really is such a group effort here. and so grateful for what these folks do every day. So the Congressional Management Foundation has been around for a long time. It is one of these storied institutions down in DC. They give us a lot of resources. So literally when you become a new chief of staff, new member of Congress, they do your orientation.
Okay.
They give you like a manual of how Congress works. And so a lot of their bread and butter is putting together resources like that, everything from like, how do you run a constituent mail program to how do you take care of your staff in the midst of a government shutdown? They've just got resources upon resources. And then they do these democracy awards once a year. And as you said, Jimmy, they are very prestigious. They're very competitive. We've been named finalists before in different categories. And so to, take it home this year, to win the award outright is a big deal. And again, just such a testament to the team.
Eddie, I'm going to ask you to build upon what Sarah said. We know the Congresswoman has done a lot of work for all marginalized communities around the importance of being seen. Sir, how does it feel for you and your colleagues to be seen? You came up as finalists before. This is a prestigious old school, Sarah didn't say it exactly, but an old school DC institution. How does it feel for you, sir, to be seen for servant leadership advocating for constituents? How does it feel for you and the staff?
Absolutely. I mean, it feels great to be recognized. I mean, again, this is public service. So, you're not always recognized, especially as you are behind the scenes. But, this award does mean a lot, and I share it with our team. And it's just a testament to, again, just the title of the award, Constituent Accountability and Accessibility. We mentioned the types of casework that we take on, but also that accessibility piece is huge too, and something that we, take very seriously. So we do have like copies of the Congresswoman in our municipalities across the district, our town halls, or community office hours and language translation services, and so on and so forth. So, and part of that accessibility is just also being in community. So Jimmy, you mentioned, you've seen a ton of us always on the go, and the Congresswoman's in DC Monday through Friday, which, folks aren't always aware of. Obviously she was a city council for a long time, for 8 to, I believe, 9 years or so. But it is really important then to her and to all of us that her presence is felt through us, so I think that work on top of the day-to-day responsibilities is just puts just makes us feel really happy, I would say, because we're not always recognized for it, but I know that our community felt it, and we've always felt that the community has felt it before we got this award. So it's nice to just be recognized on top of that as well.
I want to and Ricardo can get me later. I want to ask an off the cuff question, and only because based on this comment, and I know our Congresswoman, when she was a counselor, Eddie, you talked about it, Sarah, you've referenced to her visibility, to the importance of people knowing what was going on. And so Asia sparked a question, and then Eddie, his statement about her being a city council woman for 8 to 10 years. Sarah, I'll ask you to just jump on this. Asia kind of cites the standard that the Congresswoman set, and she's still looking for that locally. Can you, for me, because there was a moment in time where even I had trouble transitioning that our Congresswoman was no longer a counselor. Yeah. She's a Congresswoman. There's a different, for lack of better words, hustle. There's a different advocacy. Can you just for about 30 seconds just talk about, yes, all politics are local, but there are some things that are at a federal level, and I know you all. Y'all are going to make the phone calls to the state level stuff. You're going to make the phone calls to the city stuff. But just about 30 seconds on the difference of the transition of a counselor versus a Congresswoman. There is a change and an elevation of the work. And I remember I had trouble transitioning, and I know some people might still. And so if you could talk to that for about 30 seconds.
Absolutely. I'll be candid too. I think the Congresswoman misses a lot of the balance of her time and work on the council, because that was her heart's work too. I'm so glad every day she's in Congress. It's just a very different schedule right now too. So a lot in the House of Representatives depends on who wins that majority. And so right now the Republicans basically get to set our schedule. And then the Constitution says you have to show up. And so it's a very different dynamic versus, and shout out to our counselors. They work so hard. That schedule's a bit more predictable. You got your Wednesday council meeting in Boston, for example. You got your committee work, you're out in community, and our counselors go so hard. the Congresswoman, as Eddie said, often she's compelled and required to be in DC 5 days a week. And so then the challenge and opportunity is how do we also ensure that she's getting those touches in community, that time, that visibility. So you'll see us propping up a lot of events, but definitely encourage folks to subscribe to our social media, get on our newsletter list too, because any chance we get to get back in community, Congresswoman's doing a lot of coffees, a lot of town halls, meeting folks where they are. And then our team, as Eddie spoke to too, is we're doing a lot of pop-ups. So we'll be in your coffee shop, your library, doing casework support. I'll say one important thing to know about the federal level. So essentially, in terms of the things that show up in your daily lives, the Congresswoman has done such a wide range of bills. She's advocating on every priority, that she stewarded at the council level, plus. We just did this incredible initiative that was so important and so timely about the criminalization of Black girls in our schools and the push out. We were able to just get this massive amount of federal data that's going to make the case about what we've known in community for a long time, about what our girls are experiencing in schools, and hopefully get more resources. We're talking about, support for educators, mental health supports, and calling out those disparities. So what she has been able to do with that platform is really remarkable. She's also able to drive a lot of federal funding home. So that is where we've seen gaps in community. That is those community projects. That is some of those investments locally on everything from housing to environmental protection. You name it. We've done community projects on a lot of things, welcoming folks to the community, investing in books for our schools. So those are pretty remarkable opportunities. But yeah, I'll say the balance of the time is just a big difference. And so, our team is here to support. I will say too, again, in some of those things that are federal priorities that touch folks' lives, and I'd welcome Eddie to jump in, but your Social Security check, you come to us. We can help you with that. If something's not going right there, we can open a case. Anything related to federal immigration policy, green card interviews, going through that process, folks who are navigating a USCIS interview, shout out to Sophia in our office who really holds it down there. Federal housing, so that's HUD. I know the housing piece, we certainly got state, local, federal, but as you said, we try to really work well to pass casework along, get folks answers, even if they're not federal, we do our best there. And then I'll say as well, things like your tax returns. So if you are having trouble, with the IRS, you're not getting that tax return on time, something like that, calling in our office is your go-to. So some of those bread and butter issues, but pass it to Eddie to jump in.
I just wanted to chime in and say, Sarah, I'm surprised to hear that it's crazy for you because you handle it along with the person that actually does the schedule. But to hear that it's scheduling, that says to me the desire is to still almost be as touchable as a counselor,
yes,
but just can't because, geographical travel and whatnot. And so thank you. And it also, that was an opportunity for sort of a one-on-one. There may be some people that may not know what's available from the district office. And so, Eddie, I think this is a good sort of transition. And how do you navigate you're overseeing the district? The local issues do come there, but then also the Social Security, the taxes, immigration things. How do you manage that?
Yeah, again, it's all a team effort. We have a lot of incoming, like I mentioned at the top, we do serve a district that does have a lot of need, and we serve everybody that we represent, regardless of your views and background. So, we have folks specifically assigned, like Sarah mentioned, on different types of casework, like immigration casework, like Social Security, like Veterans Affairs. And, we try to bring those to a resolution. And in that casework process, because we're a federal office and a federally elected office, these different agencies have to get back to us within 30 days. So constituents will get an update, at least, and a progress sort of update along the way. Not all cases are resolved within 30 days, but they do need to get back to us, and they're accountable to us. So that's, one of the main things that we provide here in the district office. And I do just want to take this opportunity as well, just to uplift that if folks do need any service or assistance with anything federally related, student loans, whatever it may be, please feel free to reach out to our office at 617-850-0040. That's 617-850-0040, or go to presley.house.gov. And we're happy to support. It is a lot, like you mentioned, Jimmy, but we take it all in stride. And again, we've been rewarded for the work that we do, and we plan to continue to do this great work on behalf of the Massachusetts 7th.
I'm going to put you two on the spot because I started to text her, but I don't, I try to get sort of just a little line statement. I know she does it every day to let you all know, but who I do first, Eddie, in the voice of Ayanna Pressley.
That's a tough ask.
Sarah's like, oh. So in the voice of Ayanna Pressley, affirm the team. Like if she was there and you were getting ready to affirm the team for this award, what would she say?
Well, I don't remember the poem off the top of my head, but she would refer to this poem called "To Be of Use," and I don't have the bars kind of on my mind at the moment, but she would definitely refer to that because that truly does remind her of what we do on the day to day, and just goes back to us typically being behind the scenes in public service, sometimes being a thankless job, but we are satisfied because we're advocating on behalf of the community and we're bringing in real results that are changing real lives. So that's what I would say she would say.
Okay, now Sarah, what would
Jimmy, the Congresswoman's so prolific.
Right.
If you see Sarah's face right now, she's fighting with like going in or just keep it. So Sarah, what would the Congresswoman say?
Okay, I'll be honest, I do a pretty good Ayanna Pressley impression, but I don't think comms will feel good about that. So with love. And she's one of one, let's be real. Yesterday, some folks were in the office after she came back, and I mean, they give a snapshot too. So, Eddie and I are at this awards breakfast with the Congresswoman. It's a beautiful thing. And then we get back, she walks immediately into a press interview. Then she sits down with the educators from Boston, from the district. Then I'm pretty sure she's on the phone doing a brief, and then she's on the phone at the White House. Like, this is just her day, and she does it with such grace. And I love and appreciate her so much for it. Not just as her chief, but as a constituent,
Yeah.
And I say that all the time. I'm like, I really wish everyone could just kind of spend a day sitting in this with us, because I think it would be encouraging. Like, I think what you see is it's not perfect. We're all human. We're always trying to up our best game, do more, do better. But it's a beautiful thing because she cares so much. And, some of what she expressed yesterday to the team is just, we don't need any external validation. Like, we are in this work. We know our why and we show up. But just gratitude. She was like, I am just so proud and humbled to work with you. Like, thank you for choosing us. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for choosing this district. And I feel lucky every day that we get to work with this team. I mean, our team is made up of folks who, it's just a beautiful team. We reflect the Massachusetts 7th. We have deep roots in community on our DC and our Boston team. And I just feel so deeply lucky and honored. And that came through in what the Congresswoman shared yesterday too.
And I want to just cite, Sarah, you did well because I was looking for a little bit, because I know you, I saw you look up in the air and I'm like, yeah, Sarah can do a good imitation. You're in trouble with the comms team, but no, I really, what both of you did was take the influence she's had, and as she often talks about, through your voice, your own voice. She was the one that told me some years ago. I was like, I'm out here, trying to be a voice for the voiceless. She was like, we all have voices. It's just bringing them together. And so I started using no pun, but using the analogy of a choir director, to bring the voices together. So, Eddie, I wanted to just, there's a little blurb, and shout out to Ricardo and the comms team. For I'm just laughing because if you would have did it, Sarah, Ricardo probably would have been like, wait, no. This is just something with the 3 or 4 of us. But from that poem, To Be of Use by Marge Percy, the pitcher cries for water to carry and for work that is real. And that is, it's so interesting for me because, as you all know, I used to be in ministry. And there's the term, the adjutancy, that comes from the military, serving the generals and whatnot. And the symbol of the adjutancy is pouring water. And so I think that's so apropos to be of use. I'm going to have to look that up and really look at that. But I thank both of you on a Friday for being here. I know there's probably a lot to close out in the week down there in Congress, but thank both of you for being here. Thank you for what you do to fight and make sure student debt is canceled. Thank you for what you do around the Crown Act. Thank you for the work that you do around a women's right to choose and have say over their body. Thank you, Eddie, for pointing people here locally. It may be a city issue, but you'll make a phone call to the city. Learn so much, Shanae. The last thing I'll share, Eddie, you was an influence on this. We have the word Constitution, which is the foundation of our, democracy and law. Then you have the word constituent. If I'm right, con means with. There's an origin of the word con that means with. The Constitution is the foundation. The constituent is the foundation of the service. And so I just thought about that when you were talking and actually said the word constituent. So this is a good way for me to start my weekend.
Likewise.
Hey, Sarah, it was good. Some months ago, I got to hug you and see you in community. She was like, "What's up, Jimmy?" I was like, "Oh my God, Sarah's here." And I say, and not to take light of it or advantage of it, but Eddie, I get to see you all the time in community. So both of you, thank you. Both of you be encouraged and strengthened and practice joy and drink your water. Eat.
That's great.
That's right.
And any last words that you all want to say before we wrap up? Eddie, I'll throw it to you first and let Sarah close it out. Maybe with a little bit of a Ayanna-esque impression.
Yeah, again, I just can't stress enough. Just grateful to the team. We do this together. We share this with each other, and the work continues. And Jimmy, thank you for having us on.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Sarah?
It's so good to be with you, Jimmy. Thank you so much. As you said, Eddie and I are kind of those behind the scene folks, and all credit to the Congresswoman and the team, but this was special, and just to have a chance to, be with you and be with community and to give some flowers, rightfully so, to everyone who works so hard in this office. We're very grateful. So, and we're here, your Congresswoman's here. So you all keep us accountable. You let us know what you need. And it's an honor to get to do this work.
All right, fine. No little impression. No, I'm messing. But no, seriously, thank both of you for what you do and spending the time with us today. And then, Eddie, I'm going to hit you up because to hear that the federal agency has to get back to you in 30 days, I need to hit you. I've been telling Anthony I need to hit you up about the post office. This is personal.
Yes, we've been talking about this a ton. Yeah, no, we actually just had a whole post office. Yeah, we got a lot going on this. So please.
You did it. Not verbally, but when Sarah talked about the post office, did y'all see the air grab? She said, yeah. So that shows the energy that okay. Thank both of you for being here. Get off of here before I get in trouble. Thank you. And again to our Congresswoman Ricardo, Sophia, everybody. I know I'm missing. Go through the names again one more time, Sarah.
Let's see, Eddie, let's tag team it here. Let's make sure we got everyone. I want to shout out to Marquin, Ricardo, May, Anib, Dagoberto, Kayla, Sharif, Dorcas, Lona, Nuriel, Eliza, Avery.
Yeah, Eric, Colin, Sophia, Diana, and Aaliyah. Thank you to you all.
Thank you. And thank you to both of you. Hopefully you all enjoyed our time with our Congresswoman staff, Sarah and Eddie today, and actually got to learn about what constituent services really is. And so a time of joy. While I got all 1,600 of you here, we're here every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So do me a favor, go right now on Twitter, follow Java with Jimmy. On Instagram, follow Java with Jimmy. But seriously, come back every Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. We have these conversations. This Wednesday at 10 a.m., we're speaking with Mayor Michelle Wu, as we do every first Wednesday. So definitely plan to come back. And while all 1,600 of you are here, I'm also going to let you know that we are working on something called cuffing season. And if you're not aware of what that is, you can go right here to get some health information. Cuffing season is basically the fall this time of year when we want to wrap up and stay warm, and it may involve somebody else. Well, STIs and HIV and unwanted pregnancies are on the rise. Sarah had the picture about abortion rights. With what's going on in this country, there's a way to not be, Massachusetts, we're pretty good, but there is protection out there available for you. So cuffing season is in full effect. Make sure you go get the health information you need. That's it for me today. Everyone, thank you for being here in the Java Cafe. Shout out to everyone that watched for the first time. Please consider coming back. Go follow us on Twitter. Come back every Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. And for those that are on Twitter, you can actually participate in the conversation by hitting the live chat, ask questions, and make comments. So glad to see all of you here today. Definitely appreciate it. Also, shout out to the Davis system, who are alumni of Congresswoman Pressley's office and still help out here and there. Turn on your notifications to be notified when I go live. Just a few other comments. I think I got everyone. Anthony gave the flowers as an alumni. He knows. Aaron too. Both of it. Well, they can tell it later, but I think they met in the Congresswoman's office. So all I do is think of you. All right, let me get off of here. Shout out to the Davis system. And we'll see you guys on Monday at 10 a.m. All 1,700 of you, come back. Get the information. UCB members, you get 1 hour today. Shout out to Sharon Cornelius. Paula, good to see you in the room, and others. But seriously, this is why we're here, to get the information. There's some stuff I learned today about the Congresswoman's office and the work that they do. So I'm definitely glad to have her here. I'm trying to get a video up. Our Congresswoman celebrated her birthday. I think it was late last year, earlier this year. Anthony, let me know. And we got to see her dancing some Black Joy. And of course, I can't find the video. But we're getting off of here. Today is Friday. All right. I'm going to we got the whole team in today. What's up, Newt? Good to see you in, brother. All right. Aaron said that a Congresswoman told her to go get her husband. All right now. Greg, see you later, bro. Good to see you in the room, man. All right. That's it for me, everyone. We are definitely getting ready to go. Monday morning at 10 a.m. We will be here. Oh, I got to fix this up real quick because we had a guest scheduled, but I have an opportunity to interview. I have rather, thanks to Marv Neal of Urban Heat 98.1. Yes, I'm mentioning a radio station and another platform because this brother just supports. He hit me yesterday and said, hey, you want to interview Karen White? I said, the singer? I said, yeah. Y'all remember I'm Not Your Superwoman? Well, she's coming to City Winery next week, and we have an opportunity. We're going to interview her on Monday, along with Danella Clark of the Boston Arts Academy. We're going to shorten Danella's interview and chat with Karen White. And I think it's most apropos talking about the arts. And so Karen is definitely old school R&B. And so she, I believe, they said phone. I'm pushing them for her to be on screen, but we'll chat with Karen White on Monday around the 10 a.m. hour. So please make sure that you all keep that in mind. And so, yeah, we celebrated the Congresswoman in February. Aaron, thanks you. Thanks you. February. So that means I got to scroll all the way up to February. And y'all know I got 80,000 videos from April and March. I don't think we're going to get it today because I'm just up here now in June. So, all right. So, what was I going to say? I forgot. It's time for me to go. We'll see you guys on Monday at 10 a.m. Have a great, safe weekend, everyone. Keep a couple of things in mind. Next Sunday, Brother Mings, Miguel is sponsoring an event at Estella's, and so we'll be there for that brunch. And I think that is it. Next week is the Black Boy Joy Summit. There is also the Night of 1,000 Stories. I'm going to be at City Winery a lot in the next couple of weeks. October's crazy, y'all. We'll get some dates out. All right, I'm off of here for real. Really, Newt? Don't start. Y'all not turning this to a Java After Dark. Sharon says Superwoman is the ladies' national anthem. Okay. So with that being said, before y'all take me down a rabbit hole, everybody have a wonderful day. And we'll see you on Monday at 10 a.m. And remember, if you're out there trying to be Superman or Superwoman and you trying to super cuff, make sure you come safely. Have a great weekend, everybody. talk to you guys. Peace.